And a reminder that Points of View returns to your screens next Wednesday at 8:50 with a new season of complaints, jibes and hopefully praise for the BBC. If you care to air your views, write to Points of View, BBC Television Centre, London W12 8QT. I hope you'll join us when we return on Wednesday at 8:50 on BBC1.
In a few minutes on BBC1, a trip back recalling that was 20 years ago, that was. Now, here are the news headlines from Michael Buerk.
The Italian police chief, who'd been leading his country's fight against the mafia and the Red Brigades, has been murdered. Gunmen ambushed his car on the streets of Palermo in Sicily. They shot dead General Dalla Chiesa, who was 61 and had just got married. His wife was killed as well. The general was sent to Sicily to deal with mafia drug smugglers. In the past, he'd rounded up scores of Red Brigades terrorists on the mainland. So far, there's no word on who was behind the killing. The Labour Party deputy leader, Dennis Healey, has warned that the Western banking system could be on the verge of collapse. Mr. Healey, a former Chancellor, said next week's meeting of the International Monetary Fund in Toronto could be the last chance to save the world from such a catastrophe. His speech came as gold prices soared upwards, a sign that worried investors are looking for a safe place for their funds. The TUC has called for a 24-hour strike by all health service workers later this month, and it wants every other union member to support the action by stopping work for at least an hour. This morning, nurses leaders met the Social Services Secretary, Norman Fowler, and asked for mediation in the dispute. He rejected this, saying there was no more money on the table. 10 years after Idi Amin expelled nearly 50,000 Asians from Uganda, they've been offered their former possessions back. Parliament in Kampala says the Asians' property will be returned if they come back to Uganda. But most of the Asians are now successfully settled in Britain, and the offers attracted little interest. In the Middle East, the American Defense Secretary, Caspar Weinberger, is continuing his efforts to promote President Reagan's new plan for the Palestinians. This would give them self-government in territory now occupied by Israel. Mr. Weinberger flew to Egypt tonight after seeing Israeli leaders. They've rejected the plan as a risk to Israel's security. That's all from me. Good night.
And the weather. Fog over central and southern England will clear slowly to give a sunny, very warm afternoon with the temperature reaching 23 centigrade, 73 Fahrenheit. Over western England and Wales, northern England, Scotland and Northern Ireland, there will be a good deal of cloud and a little rain or drizzle at times, with more persistent rain reaching Northern Ireland and western Scotland during the afternoon. In the cloudy areas, the temperature will only reach 17 centigrade, 63 Fahrenheit. Grandstand tomorrow features cricket from Lords, Surrey against Warwickshire, the World Cycling Championships at Goodwood, racing from Haydock and eventing from Lumley. Grandstand starts at 5 to 10 in the morning. In 50 minutes, the late film is a wartime story, Hornet's Nest, stirred up by Rock Hudson and Selva Koshiner. Now, to end BBC1's week celebrating 60 BBC years, Ned Sherrin introduces the pioneering television satire show he created 2 decades ago in That Was 20 Years Ago, That Was.
Behind this handsome nationwide set is a real television studio. Just over 20 years ago, we did a pilot, a practice show for a new program against these bare studio walls.